the opportunity, and it's just been a godsend. And just Todd has an amazing vision and a way of keeping things simple. So, Todd, thanks so much for being here with us. I have my notebook and pen out to take notes. I learn something every single day. So, we appreciate you taking time out on Saturday to share with all of us how you've had such great success. So, Todd, are you here?
Thank you, Susan. Speak for like 10 more seconds. I was looking for one more slide to pull up of another PowerPoint. I just found it. I'm moving it over right now and I'll be ready to roll.
Absolutely. And if you're on this call, we want to celebrate you if you have recently ranked up and we haven't celebrated you yet. So put it in the chat what you've ranked to. We want to celebrate you and celebrate your wins. And we're so proud of those that are plugging in the system and making it happen. Let's see here. Look at these promotions. We have Jamie Thornton, hit Vice President. Congratulations, Jamie. Melissa Brown, hit Vice President. Do we have any more? Okay, Todd.
All right, I got it all set now. Well, I hope everybody's having a great Saturday morning. I always have to be careful the way I say things because there's a lot of great people in our company and there's a lot of fast moving teams and I enjoy working with everybody, but this group overall, like I just say factually, numbers wise, there's nobody creating more volume in partner code than this organization. And it's you never get to the huge. And by the way, that's way more than a million in volume weekly total in that leg. That was Thanksgiving week. It's not that way every week, but it kind of gives you an idea of what kind of growth it is. And when you get to doing that kind of volume, it's not about one person. It's not even about one leader anymore, which kind of brings us to what I want to talk to you about today. And it's called the compound effect, the ability to do something that does two things for you in your future. One, at some point, it duplicates you, meaning that you not only have some reps working a little bit in your business, but over time, you get a lot of reps working a little bit. And then over a little bit more time, you get a couple of people that work it really hard. And then over time, you get a couple of people that really are good at this. And I'll give you an example. Susan had been working Partner Co for a little while. She had success, but when Susan Cameron entered her business, it elevated, it doubled, it quadrupled. And I've always said one leader will outrun 10,000 people in a room that are just there, watching the paint dry on the wall. So, but what happens is now under Susan came Barbara, under Barbara came Ann Wadishashin, under Ann came Stacy and Billy and Dr. Laura and Buffy and Darren and just a whole world out there of other leaders. So at some point it starts duplicating so much that you have leaders. At some point you have people in your business you don't know. Then you start getting some people working pretty hard that you don't know. But eventually you get people that become leaders that you don't know. You will get to know them. They may not always be a stranger. But when you get the power of duplication and compounding on your side, you give yourself a chance to actually get ahead in life. It's one of the two big things that makes this so different than small businesses and working for somebody, because in a small business or working salary or hourly, I don't care what you're paid, do the math, $100 an hour, 24 hours a day, and you're very limited on what you could ever earn. And nobody can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So like it's hard, if not impossible, to get ahead without the compound effect. And you have only two choices. You will compound people. That's what big business owners do, except the problem with that scenarios is the employees or the salary people, they have no compound effect. They only get their own effort. There's only one person generally in a company getting the benefit of the compounding efforts of people, and that is the owner. That's the reason I always say the real world is a pyramid. We're actually the most equal playing field that exists on planet Earth, that allows us to go out and better our lives based upon willpower, want to, grit, desire, coachability, all the things I'm going to kind of cover here today. And then the second thing this company sets you up for is It gives you a chance to build an income that is passive and residual by nature. In the beginning, when I say the beginning, if you study small businesses, 80% of small businesses do not turn a profit for 2 years. And over half of them have failed by the 2 year mark. So, like in this business, it takes 2 years to build any type of solid foundation unless you just get really, really freaking lucky and hit somebody that has a lot of experience and already built mind and good emotional capital and all those kinds of things. But overall, like overall expect some time to let it solidify. So that first year or two, it seems like that it's a lot. When you first begin, you're trying to juggle this with a job or with a business. And then as you start making money at this, you start putting more time into it. And you realize that everybody doesn't have the same mentality as you do. Like everybody's not as serious as you. Everybody's not as coachable as you. Everybody doesn't plug into the IPA calls and the trainings and all those kinds of things like you. So you find yourself basically saying the same thing if you're working over and over and over all day. And once you understand this, like once you accept that everybody's not going to work this equally, once you accept everybody's not going to see this the same way you see it, once you accept that in the early days, your sole job is to invest your time, effort, energy, love into other people. Like just understand that's part of it. That's what we do. And you can grow the amount you do that over time. But at some point, you replace yourself in that organization. Somebody, it becomes like you or somewhat like you. And then over time, you'll always find people better than you. Like Susan Frank and Susan Cameron are way better at this than I am. I have a great platform. I was an educator by trade, so I'm a good teacher. But the skill set that those two have on recruiting, selling, closing, speaking life. Listen, they're as good as anybody in the company. And there's a lot of other leaders on this call, from Barbara to all the ones I mentioned. Please, if I don't call your name, I can't see the list of who's all here. But I understand that this team has a lot of great people. So let's walk through this a little bit. So first thing I want to show you. So Susan Cameron and Susan Frank are both chairperson twos. Is that right? Chair twos? I think that's right. So they're not on the chart. They're above it. But I want you, this is the company income disclosure statement. So the average chair one, the average one is going to make about 420,000 a year. The good ones, the top 5% in the company, this is a disclosure statement, meaning this is the accurate money being earned from the company. 1.2 million a year for the top 5% of the CEOs. So like when somebody asks me why this business, here's what I tell you to ask yourself. When you go to work tomorrow, whether you own it, you're salaried, or you're by the hour, is there anything at that business that would give you an opportunity to make $1 million a year if you're the top 5%? Or if you're just average at what you do, make 400,000 a year? And I will tell you, as a high school football coach with 6 years of college, a master's degree, and a couple state championships, there was zero chance at that level of coaching I would ever make that kind of money. I like that. It wasn't designed for that. So if you want to get your family financially ahead, you have to step out of the box of comfort you've created during your lifetime into a new arena that gives you the ability. And over time, if you plug in, you stay consistent, you become disciplined, it becomes your new comfort zone. And I want to show you this last thing visionary wise, and then we're going to walk through a little bit how to do this. Timing in life is everything. I mean, everything in hindsight is easy. It's futuristically that it becomes really complicated, because the Bible tells us we don't know anything. Like we are dust, we will return to dust. And we don't know if the world ends tomorrow, or if we're still breathing 1 hour from now. And I've got the stats for this for the boot camp. I'm going to share the amount of people that die hourly. And I'm talking about people that I'm not talking about old and elderly and expecting to die. I'm talking about like 30 and 20 and 42-year-olds that wake up one morning and got life of the tail, and at the end of the day, they're not on this earth anymore. So listen to me. You have to take responsibility for your life. You can't take anything for granted. We're not promised anything. And I saw there was a girl that came to Park City, Utah for the top 75. Her name was Lorraine. Susan and Barbara all met her. But I've been following her on Instagram because she's really good and she's very powerful when she speaks. But she put a post on Instagram this week, and here's what it said. Business is hard. Like, it's hard. If it was easy to make $1 million a year, then everybody would already be freaking doing it. Like, it's understand what you're walking into here if you want to get to the big money. Like, but here's what I'm going to show you. Here's why you're willing to go through the hard. That little dot that says today, that's where we are on this chart. We're in a startup company. We'll be 3 years old this month. And you can see there, year 1 to 4. By the way, about 85% of all network marketing companies fail within the first 2 years. So we've already made it past the failure point. We're already a $400 million debt-free company with growing markets in over 50 countries. So we're set. The only question is where are you in the equation? So you're building during this phase. At some point, the company and then your individual business will do it separately, but at some point, you'll hit a growth phase and it will just begin to go. And by the way, when you understand growth, understand in business, growth is not linear. It's choppy, meaning you could have a great month and then a bad week or a bad month. It's like all over the place. What you want to look for are trend lines over time. Over a 12-month period, did I trend upward financially? Active brand partners, active customers. So I'm always looking at that. But at some point, you hit kind of a concentrated growth time frame. This is where the compounding becomes really good. And then finally, when you get 3 or 4 legs out there growing, or 2 or 3 legs, whatever it is that you want, and you get some decent leaders in there, and the company is solid and great IT and great products and all that, then you're going to hit this hyper growth area. And this is the third component of the business that you're now in that is not available in the real world. When that hyper growth phase hits the company and it hits your business, that's where wealth creation occurs. That's where you don't do anything different. And 1 month you're making $5,000 a month at this. Not remember, it's not linear. So it could be 5,000, 4,200, 5,300, 3,900. Like, it could be all over the place. You're looking for the moving average rising over time. Nothing's linear, nothing straight up ever in business, in the stock market. Anything with this type of potential growth is not always. It's not like a Friday paycheck where you're going to get $322 every Friday for the rest of your life for showing up. This one gives you a create wealth. So when that hyper growth phase occurs, that's when that three, four, $500 a week check, $3, $4, $5,000 a month check, all of a sudden can compound. It can double. It can quadruple. Susan saw that. Both Susans saw that last year. They both quadrupled. Susan Frank maybe 5 times her income over the past 24 months. Like, it like goes viral. And you got to remember, Susan Frank was a nurse. And if you are a nurse on this call, is there ever a chance for your income to fivefold in a 24-month period? The answer is no. You're praying for a 3% raise year over year. So all of that said, that's why you're going to want to do what we're now about to walk through. Because when you do work and you do build and it does compound, you end up like Susan Frank with 2 lake houses, a swimming pool, a bus, 4 kids, working from home. It becomes really nice when that takes off. And it's not just Susan, there's a lot of you doing that. The cultural aspect and the travel. If you love to travel, throw a heart in there. Listen, when you start traveling with like-minded people globally, Morocco's coming up, Hawaii is coming up. We've been to Punta Cana, we've been to Bali, we've been to Tahiti. Like, this is a chance for you to build a network of people with positive attitudes headed somewhere in life that are going to speak life into you, not pull negativity into you. It's a chance to travel the world for free, become very culturally experienced. It's a chance to build a residual income, a retirement, get out of debt, change your whole family's trajectory forever. This is a book because when I get into the how-to here in just a second, um, you got to be willing to do it, and you got to have faith because this is a business built on faith. That's where a lot of people fail in our business. They just don't have faith in the company, faith in themselves, faith in anything, and they're easily distracted by nonsense. And I will tell you that this book was given to me very early on in my network marketing journey. And I have prayed this prayer almost daily now for 20 years. It's called the Prayer of Jabez. If you're not familiar with it, you can see there, Chronicles 10, 9, and 10, but I'm just going to summarize it. But basically, Jabez was born. His mom had a lot of pain during the birth. Jabez meant pain. That's what Jabez means in Hebrew. So he was given a birth name of pain, but he cried out unto God and said, "Oh God, would you please bless me indeed, enlarge my territory, and protect me from evil?" And the next verse says, God granted Jabez his request. And if you know King Solomon's story, he prayed for wisdom and was blessed with wealth. The whole summary of the Bible is faith. Like you can memorize everything in the world, but what Jesus really wants from us is faith, belief. And I will tell you that's what this business needs from you. And how do you get the faith and the belief? You plug in. You plug into people who have it. You borrow from them and use them until you can develop it over time. And sooner or later you'll become unstoppable when you do that. All right, next piece of the puzzle. Listen, if I could tell you anything about Susan Frank and her journey of success, long-term journey of success, uh, is her positive attitude. Anybody that works with her knows she doesn't gossip. She doesn't speak about anybody negatively. She speaks life into everybody. When she's having a bad day, which I promise you she has, I have them. We're all human. We're all on this earth. We all put our pants on the same way. None of us are immune to life's challenges. But how we handle that is up to us. And I was reading something yesterday. I've been getting a whole lot of material for this boot camp we're get ready to train on. But a couple of people that I have a tremendous amount of respect for in the mindset world, they all, without knowing it, kind of say the same thing. And that is, if you'll wake up every morning and verbally say out loud 5 things that you're grateful for. God, thank you for letting me wake up this morning. Thank you for this cold weather in our nation. I love the crisp air. Um, uh, Jesus, thank you for the health in my family. When you become grateful and focused that way, you don't have to do it very long, and it will begin to completely change the way you process things in your mind. But remember, it goes backwards. Um, so many people watch me. I always have to be careful what I say, but I'm going to say this anyway. I was born in a really small town, and anybody that's from a small town knows that everybody knows everybody, and gossip rules the world. And nothing drives gossip faster than negativity, especially if you're talking about somebody else. Like I grew up in it, I saw it, I watched it, I felt it, I lived it. And I remember as a child saying, because these are good church going people that I would watch do this. And it was a lot of times over Sunday lunch after church. Uh, and, and, um, and I remember saying to myself as a kid, I will never do that. And it was one of the, like, it was a true thing that stuck forever. So I'm going to tell you, if you catch yourself speaking negativity over yourself, speaking negativity over your anything, like catch yourself and reverse it and just say out loud what you're actually grateful for. But just because we're grateful and have a positive attitude does not mean we're not dealing with life issues. It doesn't mean that our body doesn't feel good today. It doesn't mean we weren't sick last week. It doesn't mean we don't have something going on with a child. It doesn't mean that there's not conflict in a marriage. It doesn't mean that there's not somebody that's hurt your feelings. Like we all deal with it. What we all get to do is we get to choose how we handle it and how we are perceived by other people. And the reason I'm spending time on this because this begins the biggest part of your journey. If your business is declining, there's 2 things I look to. Number one, what is your attitude? Because I watch people speak death into their business every day. They call their downline, they complain. There's nothing worse you can do is to call somebody else on your team and say, "Hey, nobody working on my team today. Ain't nobody doing anything." Well, you just spoke death into them because there's probably ain't a whole lot of people doing people on, like, that's part of the puzzle. Like, change it. Paradigm shift. I'm thankful I've got anybody on my team. I'm thankful I have one person on one leg. Be grateful because your attitude will motivate or discourage. Your energy will attract or repel. And in this business, if you're a energy repeller, you will never have a big long-term business. It just won't happen. So until this is fixed and being activated daily, everything else really won't matter. And then, this just goes back to the being grateful part. Like, I've always said that I've had tremendous favor in this business. I've been coachable. I work on my brain every day. I deal with a lot of issues just like everybody else deals with. I have to departmentalize a lot of things. And then you have to do the same thing. That's one of the skill sets you want to develop here to get into big business. And then I'm going to walk you through this last 10 minutes of actually what we do, how to do it. I'm not going to go real in depth on the details of it. I just want you to see the picture, and then you can plug into the boot camp, or we can do another training on the details, because each one of these things I'm going to talk about, you can train on for 45 minutes each. And that's the reason that the boot camp is going to be 16 hours, because we're going to train thoroughly on a three-way, thoroughly on a drop talk, thoroughly on the conversion, thoroughly on branding, thoroughly on building your Facebook algorithms. Like, all those things will be trained in, but you can't train that on a call like this. It just gets way, way too long. But I will tell you, and Susan Cameron, she's made as much money as anybody that I've ever been around in this industry in her first 2 years, right? Just shy of $1 million in 24 months. But there are times that Susan doesn't trust the process. And we had this talk the other day. So, Susan, I'm going to share one of the things that you've realized, because early on you don't realize it because you haven't experienced it yet. But what happens is all of the people who are unsuccessful in your business are going to be trying to tell you how to do things better. And if you're not careful, you can sabotage your own business for the unsuccessful. In this business, do not trust people on social media. I've always said social media is a lie. Half the people that I see in this company on social media acting like they're making $1 million didn't make $15 in their paycheck last week. There are other people that have no presence at all. You don't even know who they are, that are going to make 500,000 plus this year. Like because they get up and they do the fundamentals every day. And we're getting ready to walk through those fundamentals right now. Okay. So this is the moral of the whole story. In this business, I only have two choices until somebody shows me something different. You can post twice a day, sell drops, use an experienced person in your business for three-way calls and or 5 or 10 minute Zooms to convert those customers to brand partners. Um, that is choice one. And if you don't like building with people, because that's not everybody's personality, some people are much better on social media, they're better recruiters, they're better sellers, but they're just not good builders. And it's okay. There's other people that are really, really good builders, and they're not as good on social media, and they're not as good as sellers, and all those kinds of things. And that's the great thing about this type of business, is we can all use each other's best skill sets. But in this business, if I'm not posting twice a day, and at some point in my business life begin to be a part of 5 exposures a week of some kind. That's a customer being on a three-way call to see if they want to get a discount and start making a little extra income from home, a little 10-minute Zoom, a direct approach about the business of somebody. It doesn't matter how it gets done. And the thing you have to understand is, and this is, some people have been with me for years and they still don't understand this. I watch how they act. I watch what they say. This is not about just you. You are paid to unlimited depth in this compensation plan. So if somebody is 45 levels deep on you and they've got a bunch of new customers, but they've never converted yet, you got to bury in with them and help them and give them confidence and be there for their three-way. That's where this whole thing breaks down, is when new people Remember, most new people are sponsored by new people who were sponsored by new people. Sometimes, as this thing really starts to grow, you're 5 or 6 or 7 people away from anybody that knows what they're doing. So if you're not a leader digging in and building that relationship and helping this process occur, it dies. And you're just mad at everybody. And it's really, I always say, when my business is going backwards, I'm speaking to me, not anybody else. When my business is going backwards, I look in the mirror. How many people am I helping? How many new people in my organization have I built a relationship with and provided my assistance to in an area that pays me? Uh, um, it is is my attitude in check? Because sometimes, every week, every month, every year brings us different difficulties in life, and you have to self-check that when you're in a difficult time in life. How am I able to departmentalize that and show up here and still be positive with other people? It's like all those little things are what make this go. But at the end of the day, I want to keep this simple. You got to understand why you're here. Compounding effect, create wealth, residual income, asset, tax breaks. Number two, positive attitude. Why am I here? What's my attitude every day? And number three, am I doing anything to get the next person exposed in my organization? Because if any of those three things are moving, you can work 80 hours a week at this business and epically fail at it. Because those are the three huge fundamentals that drive the whole thing. By the way, these are slides just repeating that. So that I'm not training on this today. Like I said, I'm going to train on this in the boot camp. We've got girls training on this that are really, really, really freaking good at this. Um, there'll be a lot of time spent in this area on day 2 of how to make sure you keep selling. And then we're going to talk about branding out onto Instagram and TikTok at some point if you like the social media aspect. If you don't, you got 2 choices in this business. You've got to brand and sell and recruit more, or you got to become a good builder and you got to learn how to taproot and help other people be successful. Step 2 is the wealth creators. But step 1 can set you free if you are willing to invest in yourself and get good at it. But this is the other piece we were talking about, is that when these new people are joining your organization, you see them when you run your back office, your volume report, your tree, you see them as people on a tree. These are human beings with emotions, with needs, with desires, and highly, highly likely were signed up by somebody that has no idea what they're doing. And probably half the time being negative and not even knowing they're being negative to them. So if you're not driving, promoting, all those kinds of things, and one of the things that Susan sent me this morning, she wanted to make sure I said, that is the power of bigger events. The boot camp is sold out. There, we have no more room. We're probably going to kick you out of the movie theater now because I've had so many people call and just say, "Can we get one more person?" But there is nobody else can come in person. There is no way possible. But you can play it. You can watch it on Zoom, or the main event Friday and Saturday is still open. But if you, and it's not you. Here's what I say. If you're not coming to the event, how in the world can I promote it to my own team to go to the event? And I will tell you, the ones that come to events generally build belief, grow a business, and change their life. The ones that don't generally fall away. I can correlate attendance on the IPA call, attendance at meetings, and a leader working with it. That's the common denominators across the board of the success here. Again, I'm skipping some of this because we're going to train on this at a different point. Okay, next piece of the puzzle, and I the IPAs, I see this picking up because when we do our announcements, there are some mornings now it takes 8 to 10 minutes to get through announcements. That's a really really good thing, and I thank everybody who is working under the law of abundance and sharing. Like last night, Brent Palmer was in a living room in Tampa, Florida, And I know that this team had quite a few people at his party. He called me yesterday worried about it because he said, I had no idea there was this many people in Tampa. He doesn't know these people's living room he was going to be in last night. He's like, I hope they don't get mad when all these people show up. But because he was there, that got people exposed that otherwise were sitting in a city with no help, no belief, no anything. So when we all do that for each other, because you can never, listen to me, for those that are leaders that want to get to the big money here, you can never, ever, ever get to the big money by yourself. This is something I figured out very early on in this industry because I would watch people that would get to 20 or 25,000 or 30,000 a month and they would plateau. And they could never, like, it's such a small percentage that break through that number and get on to like 100,000 a month. Because what happens is you develop this prior this bubble around yourself, and you start cutting people off, and you're not putting stuff out there, which means people aren't putting stuff out there for you, and all of a sudden you're limited to your own ability, and you can't get to the big money when you're limited to your own ability. This is an army of wisdom, an army of presenters, an army of trainers, an army of people doing drop talks and super Saturdays and all those kinds of things, especially if you have desire to grow this business around the globe. You can't get to everybody. You can't be everywhere. And now the tap rooting part. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm just going to show you what I mean by tap rooting. So Walt, the guy in the picture there, was bulldozing my yard or land about 2.5 years ago. And I recruited him, signed him up with a 200-point pack. And I see Kim Grace here this morning. I put him on Kim Gray's business. At that time, Kim was a pay line to me. So I just put it down under Kim. Kim began to help me. We were a team. She would talk to him every day. And listen to his hunting stories. And I just, he was not, he's never been to a meeting. He still doesn't know what he signed up in. He has no idea what we do. But he knew people. And Kim just kept listening to him until finally one day he got a lady named Robin on a phone call. And Kim and I did a three-way call with Robin, and we signed her up. And then Robin started posting drops. She again, doesn't do meetings, doesn't attend meetings, but she was good at selling drops. So what did we do? Because I was very close to this, and Kim was very close to this. Kim immediately jumped in, got her trained on the importance of Ultimate, got her trained on placing these 30 packs on new brand partners businesses that you personally sponsor in the first 4 weeks. All the little things that she wouldn't know. And I'm saying this because you will be surprised how many people in your organization that don't know to do that, because remember, they were signed up by somebody brand new who was signed up by somebody brand new who was signed up by somebody brand new, and nobody's got it to them yet. So Kim took her time individually. This is really hard to train into a group. This is where you spend time with people, you invest into them. But got her, and this is why AI and all that dumb stuff doesn't work for this part of the business. There's a place for it here, I promise, especially on social media. But the investment of time into Robin led to starting to convert those customers to brand partners. That's where we stepped in and began to help talk to these girls who had bought boxes, tell them about the $29.95, and tell them that they could get their boxes cheaper and they could sell too. And then that began to grow. And when that began to grow, that led to Ashley Antley, who was a drop customer that we converted over to a brand partner. That led to Krista, who was a drop customer who converted over to a brand partner. That led to Tammy, that saw the post and got involved and started posting. And then that led to Chris and Jody Budd seeing the post and getting started. And that is now about 6,500 new brand partners in that leg, maybe 7,000 new brand partners in that leg in the last 2 years. I'm going to go back here. If Kim Gray and Todd Rowland had not married Walt, and then Robin, and then Reese and Ashley, and then Krista, and then Chris and Joni, and then through them, all the people that we've now developed relationships that we didn't even know in Canada. And off that business went because we were presenting We were speaking life. We were being positive. We were training on the back office. We were getting all those things. So the tap rooting, building in depth is the wealth creator because that's where you really hit the compounding duplication part. So again, part time. I'm going to be a part of 5 a week, whether that's a 3-way call. I could be the one setting up the 3-way call and getting help. I could be the one doing the 3-way call. It does not matter what piece of the puzzle you're in on it. Coffee shops. Listen, there is nothing better than sitting down face to face, shaking somebody's hand, and sitting there for 15 or 20 minutes and showing them how to change their life for the better physically and financially. Everybody wants it. Understand that. You are not giving somebody something they don't want. Everybody wants better. They just have fear. They have time constraints. They have money constraints. You just got to get them over the tip of their nose and their objections. And that's no easier place to do it than in a coffee shop, a kitchen table. Drop talks. That's where we get that going. I saw Susan Franks in like 3 places last week on those announcements last week. Kim Gray's in someplace every night. And now a lot of her team, because she doesn't train her team to do launch parties. Her team does launch parties because that's how Kim got them started. They got started in living rooms and then they go to somebody else's. There's no more powerful place than a drop talk in a living room. Numbers do not matter. It could be 3 people at a kitchen table. It could be 4 looking at a TV, 5 looking. It doesn't matter how it occurs. Doesn't matter if you even have a PowerPoint. Just get together and speak life and let people share their testimonials. And then the 3-way calls. Again, you need to be a part of 5 a week. If you got 3 people in a drop talk in your organization, not you personally, your organization, that's 3 of your 5 for the week. You can do that in 30 minutes on a Tuesday night. Like it's so easy to get that accomplished once you get the compounding effect going on. And then and this is over time if you choose. Like everybody has a different desire here. So one thing I learned a long time ago is just because I want to create a big business doesn't mean somebody I sign up tomorrow wants to. They may just want an extra $300, and that's the effort they're willing to give. And I go meet them where they are, but they still need to know how to do the basic stuff if they're going to get to $300 a week, especially if they're going to get to $300 a week residually and keep it consistent. And then the full-time person. So this is a gradual time frame. There is no exact time. You could do this your 3rd week if you so chose. You could take 3 years to make this transition. But if I expect to make a full-time income at this, then I absolutely must start being or having the ability to be the person on the 3-way, be the person taking every negative situation and fixing it and making it positive, changing the atmosphere of positive, making everything positive instead of negative. And I have to be the one that can present and help overcome the objections we all get all day, every day. So if I'm full time, I'm going to be a part of 5 a day. And I should, and I will change this. I always say 25 a week. Again, by this time, you have a big team. So if you have 100 people on your team, you just need 5 of the 100 people to put you in front of somebody on a 3-way, a drop talk, a coffee shop, a Zoom for the week or for the day, whatever it is. It doesn't take much once the compounding effect. You're not going to be full time here if you don't have a team yet. You don't have anything to do yet. You can't recruit 5 people every day, generally speaking. So anyway, you get good at that and you start doing it over time. And again, it's 25 a week. So, if you get 25 done on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, like as far as the numbers go that I know that creates the wealth here, it's accomplished. You work more, put more time in, compound faster, but these numbers don't lie. I've watched it now for years. This is an exact science. Plugging into the IPA call is everything. I know some people can't. I was a teacher. I understand. If I was still teaching, I couldn't plug into it. Listen, it's not mandatory. I know that we do it live and on the West Coast. It's harder getting on that call at 7:15 in the morning. I account for all of those things. But there is no denying the correlation of success and the people showing up. It is absolutely, I'm not going to go into this money today. What I'm going to do, so we have plenty of time to do this, is I'm going to unshare my screen. And I just want anybody that wants to, Susan, Barb, Ann, whoever wants to, if y'all want to add anything, because Lord knows I don't know all the answers. But I also want you to ask any questions, anything you want me to expand on, anything you want me to talk about.
Todd, this has been phenomenal. Thank you so much for doing this for all of us today. For those who aren't able to get to Destin, haven't bought their ticket, please buy your virtual ticket. This is golden. Seriously, what he speaks about is going to change your belief if you haven't already had that feeling of belief in your heart already. I've never heard someone speak it so perfectly, so filled with passion. And Coach doesn't have to do this, right? He's already arrived, but he does it because he cares. This is his ministry. This is his purpose. This is his passion to pour into all of you. All of you. And that's something that I grasped early on is that this is my ministry too. And I really have partnered with so many people and I pour into you daily and I love that you guys pour into each other. I love what I've seen over the last 20 months in just the duplication of being there for each other. You guys are all amazing, doing your own drop talks, your own three ways. This is so incredible. And then, of course, you're inviting people, the leaders, to come in when you have a big guy, person, woman, that sort of thing. So, so proud. Thank you so much, Todd, for doing this today.
Thank you guys. And by the way, nobody ever arrives. So just know that we're all waking up every day chasing our passions. We all set new goals. I heard yesterday that Elon Musk is now worth $600 billion and could possibly be worth $1 trillion. And the guy works harder than anybody I know on planet Earth. Like you just watch him every day. He's got 15 companies running. But I'll tell you what he does. If you ever listen to him, he's always positive. And the one thing I watch him do, because no human being on planet Earth can run those companies and work for the government, do everything else he's done. Like he empowers people, so he compounds his time. But remember, unless you're an investor in the company compounding your money, his employees don't get to compound their time. He has some really high paid employees. But I would say the masses of people that work for Tesla or Starlink or any of his other companies just trade their time for money. So again, he's the only one with the leverage. In this business model, everybody gets the leverage. It's your choice how much leverage you get. The other thing that Elon Musk has been saying for a long time, and I think everybody's starting to buy into it now. So I've got a college degree, a master's degree. All four of my kids have college degrees. I made them all go to college and make them, but I encouraged them to. So when I say this, I am not anti-education. But what I'm going to tell you is a fact in today's world. Elon's been saying this for a long time. A college degree in today's world does not equate into financial independence. And Sarah, I don't think is with us this morning. I don't think she would mind me telling you this, but everybody knows Sarah Weaver, how talented she is, how good she is. She's got her PhD. But guess what a PhD came with? $250,000 in student loans. And if you know anything about meteorology, there's really no chance for wealth in that field. So you got like if you want to get you may not like being a weatherman or being a coach or all those things are about passion. And if that's what you're chasing and you're happy, so be it. Like I'm not here to change any of that. It's equally as good. But I will tell you, money dictates everything. It dictates the house you live in, the cars you drive, the education your kids do or don't get, what kind of education they do or don't get. It dictates what shoes they wear, what clothes they wear, what schools they go to, what subdivision you live in. It dictates what vacations you get to go on. Like if you really want to get down to it, money dictates in today's world, unless you want to move to the country and start growing gardens again like your grandparents did. It dictates if you eat. It dictates if you have electricity and water running at your house. It dictates if you have shelter. It dictates everything. So anybody that ever tells you money is not important, they are lying through their teeth. It is crazy important. Now, I'm not saying you've got to have a lot of it, but I'm saying you've got to have it. And if you don't ever get something compounding and residual, you will absolutely give the majority of your life to something to pay your bills. And you don't want to do that. Like you don't have to live that way. And I don't say this in a way. I always worry about how to say things where it doesn't come across the wrong way. But our family hasn't worked since we were 35. I retired my entire 40s. I coached high school football for free and traveled around watching two of my kids play college sports for 4 years on residual income because of this industry. Like you don't have to work to 70. and barely retire. Like there is a alternate way if you want it. It just requires a positive attitude, stepping out of your comfort zone, learning a new skill set, getting better at things, um, and then following and being coachable over time. And listen, there may be a new avenue to create wealth in this industry at some point. If you had me training here 5 years ago, I couldn't have told you about posting twice a day and selling products and converting to brand partners. We never figured that out. So I'm not saying somebody won't come up with another great ideal, but don't ever change your business to somebody's ideal until they're making $1 billion with it. Like, don't listen to broke people. It will screw you 100% of the time.
Todd, this call has been fire. Everybody side messaging me. I love this. This is so great. So I want to congratulate Ann's team, all Dr. Laura, Stacy. I mean, you guys have just came in here and done incredible. So one thing I would love to call on Ann for a second, Todd, because she's been in the industry for quite a while, and our vision for 2026 is to pull more leaders. So Ann, would you kind of unmute and tell a little bit about your resistance to using the system, and when you went to the event, how your vision completely changed and what it did for your business being in the network marketing industry when you actually plugged in and did the system of growth, and how it helped your team grow so fast and duplication, and just share a little bit about that with teaching sticking with the fundamentals that they're having us do. I'd love to hear a little bit from you.
Sure. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. When I got introduced to this, I've been in the industry for 23 years. And when I got introduced to this, I've had success before, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, there was nothing in me that wanted to do the system of growth, but I myself saw a post. And so Stacy and I, like, basically what happened is we just were praying, and we just were like, we knew we needed to go to PXP. So if you can't get to Destin, and you live in Canada, I want you to go to the Vancouver event. If you can't get to Destin, I want you to go online and buy your ticket for PXP this year, like right now. Okay. And book it out. Like, schedule your whatever, schedule everything, ask for time off of work, all the things. You go to Partner Co events and you can buy your ticket there. And the reason why is that when you go to the Partner Co events, probably more than I think with other companies, I really feel like you really do. Darren talked about at PXP this year how this company has a soul, and I really do. I agree with him. I am blown away by that fact, and so there's so many things that are the difference makers here, but a lot of times, in order to actually experience it, you do have to go to an event. And so for me, when I went to an event, what I saw is that this is not a diet culture. I really liked that because I kind of, I'm just going to say I like that. Okay. I'm just going to say that. So what do I like about that? I like that you see when you go to PXP or Destin, you see people in their after still, like Susan Frank is still in her after, like, she's not back in her before picture. And people are, they're getting healthier every day. You hear about people's testimonials reclaiming their wellness, like Letty Madrid. You meet people, you have conversations, and it is super. What it does is it builds your belief, and so that's what the events do. Is they help to build your belief. That's what you need. You need your belief to be built so that in the nooks and crannies of the day, when someone tells you no, and you really thought, oh my gosh, they were going to tell me yes, and they would be amazing, and if they join my team, that's going to be like everything. And when they tell you no, it's so discouraging. And so you have to have that belief that really gets built in the connections, on the calls, but also in person, like Todd talked about. And so that was everything for me and Stacy. We went to that event. We saw that the leadership was real. We saw that the people were real. We saw that the before and afters were real. We were blown away by the owners. We were blown away by all of it. And so we were just like, okay, we're doing this. Like the only thing we had resisted the system of growth because we questioned everything. It seemed too good to be true with Partner Co. And so when we realized, oh my gosh, it's not too good to be true, this actually does exist, we literally jumped in, got our hair wet, and followed the system of growth. Have we done it perfectly? Absolutely not. But we have, and then we invite people. Todd talked about it, I think, just the other day. Like, this is a business of inviting. This is a business of inviting people, asking them to take a look at the business, asking them to take a look at the product, asking them to join you, and saying to them, listen, like, I mean, and this is the other thing I know that I do, and I believe a lot of people on my team do, and I know Todd does it, and I'm sure Susan and Susan do it, and Barb does it, and that is that I pray. I pray. And so I pray for God to guide me, to lead me, to show me who I'm supposed to talk to. And then guess what my job is? My job is to actually do who he lays on my heart. Like, I need to contact them. I need to reach out to them. There is someone that honestly, I have got to reach out to her today. So you can, if you see me in Destin, you can ask me, did you reach out to the person that you told us you were going to on Saturday? Did you do it? Because I've got to do it today. I'm doing it today. Because we all have life happen and things get in the way. And so, the thing that I think is so exciting here is that we can help the new person win with income and with product, like with getting healthier. We can help them win. That was everything for me because that's one of the reasons I left my previous platform, is because people couldn't win anymore. The new person couldn't win anymore. And so that's one of the reasons why that's one of the reasons why I absolutely.
I brought two products the other day, but I want to bring one back. I'm not going to use.
Cindy, we hear you, Cindy. Can you mute? So anyway, I just am blown away. I'm so grateful. All I want, honestly, whether someone's on my team or not on my team, I just want people to win. I want them to win with this business. I want them to get healthier holistically. I want them to achieve all of their dreams. And what I believe with Partner Co. I mean, Todd has said this, and I have been like, I am with Todd, and that is. He always says, so if you pay attention, this is what Todd says. He's like, you know what? Head down, work with your head down for 3 to 5 years, work. And guess what? I know how to work. And so and guess what? My team knows how to work. And so if people are like, why, what's different? What's going on? We know how to work. So do you know how to work? Do you know how to put your head down, get rid of the noise? And I'm not saying ignore your family or ignore your whatever. I'm just saying you commit to the time that you can actually work this business and you work it. Don't just scroll on social media. Don't get involved in the muck and the mire. Focus on working. Focus on speaking life. Focus on loving people. Focus on serving. Focus on serving your customers. Focus on becoming a better version of yourself each day. I am not better than anyone else, but you know what? And I heard this at my first platform with someone that I love and I admired her very much. And she always said, I'm not better than anyone else, but I am better than who I was when I started. Are you better than who you were when you started this business? I know that since I started Partner Co., I am better. I am better than who I was, not comparing Amwadition to anyone else, but to myself. So that is what my goal is to become the best version of myself. I was created for greatness, and guess what? You were too. And so if you want great things, then you have to dig deep and you have to become the person that you were created to be, because this is not just a game. This is life. And we have an opportunity to change people's lives with the product, with the business. But you know what? It is bigger than that. And so if you want something bigger, if you want something extraordinary, this is just the beginning. And so get your heart and your head to connect and make a commitment to yourself that you are going to run the race. Run the race. Run the race with me. I'm not Cherokee. I can't run a marathon right now, but I can run this race of Partner Co. and I can work on myself. I am committed that I am going to get into better shape this year. And so, like, what are you committing to? When I chose my word for the year, it was momentum. What's your word? I am committed to momentum, not just for me, but for Partner Co, for my family, for my health, for my wellness, and for me to become the person that I am called to be. I am accountable to one thing, and that is God Almighty. And so if that is who I'm accountable to, I need to give him a good show. I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank you, Anne. That was amazing. Go, girl. Go, girl. That was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful words. We appreciate you so much. You're incredible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love you guys so much.
So I guess real quick, Anne, when you call this person up, is this person been in networking or not? And what is that cold outreach going to look like for you today that we're going to challenge you?
Oh, I'm actually gonna send her a voice memo because I know she's busy, but I'm gonna send her a voice memo over Instagram or over Facebook Messenger, and I'm gonna I know she's interested in the product, so I am going to talk to her and just be like, "Oh my gosh, you have been on my heart, and I know that I need to. I've got to get. We've got to talk. We've got to talk about the product. I know you could help so many people because I know she can. She's a physical therapist, um, but she's really, really well connected, and she just loves people. And so I'm going to say that to her. You love people, and when you're a physical therapist, you're limited with your time and right like you're trading time for money, and so I'm just going to say to her, I know you're trading time for money. She's got all these affiliate links of all these things that she recommends for people to have like a healthier life, and so I'm just going to say to her, girl, like, you know would you take a look at this? Would you take a look at this? Would you just give me some time? And then we'll go from there. So that's what I'm going to do. Her name's Ashley. Hold me accountable.
I love doing things like that, Anne. It really does make it so much more fun. And it just, right, you can see even Anne, right? We all feel that little angst, like, oh, what if we'll get rejected? So, like, okay, God, I'm going to put myself out here. So think about you bigger builders. How many people came in your business because God put it on your heart and you took action? So I love all. I love everybody here. Thank you, Todd, so much. This was absolutely amazing. So, Todd, we'll jump off of this call, and if you will, just Zane and Todd and you guys just jump back on this link. So we'll see you in a minute, and you guys have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday, and we'll see you in Destin.
Everybody be blessed. Can't wait to see everybody.
Thanks. Thanks.